Hare Krishna and welcome back to You're Not That Body. My name's Fraja Vilasani Devidasi, and today I had a question that was asking how we can remember on a day-to-day basis that we're not this body. And the reason I was asked this is because the person that I was speaking to, they work, they're married, they have children, they're studying as well, they play sport. There's a lot of things that get caught up in the material world, and that's not unusual. It's quite normal. So she asked me how I first come to find out that we're not this body and how we can always remember this. So I have talked about this before, but I'll just briefly touch on it. I met some devotees through yoga in the park who invited us to kirtan, but they also invited us to a meditation class that they were running. And I was thinking that I was attending because, it will help me to relax, so take down the stress. And in the long run it did, but in the short term I was thinking that I was going to go and find some breathing and things. And yes, we did some pranayam, which is the breathing, and we chanted some japa, and they actually gave me my first set of japa beads, and we did some kirtan. And then at the end of every class we would be read a little bit of a spiritual text. And the first few didn't really hit with me straight away, so I heard them and I thought, oh well, we're there for 55 minutes and we listened to 5 minutes of this little book, and I can live with that. It wasn't offensive, but I wasn't quite taken yet. And on the third week, I think it was, they read a script to us about how we're not this body from Bhagavad Gita. And that was the one that actually struck me and made me, like the light bulb moment, made me think, hang on, there's more than this. It's not just breathing and some chanting. And it made me become interested in learning more about how we're not this body. And that's what actually started my journey on Krishna consciousness. So I do have those devotees to thank for a lot of this. And one of the first ways, so coming back to the second question, was how we can put this into practice on a daily life and how we can continually remember. Well, the first thing I have to say is that the rule that I try and remember is always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. And it's the same with remembering that we're not this body, we're spirit soul. So inside of our heart space, there's two souls. There's our soul, which goes with us from body to body. And then there's the Supreme Person, so he has a spark within us. So there's the two souls, and we remember that we are spirit soul, we're not the body. And the way we learn this and remember this is through Bhagavad Gita, for example, other scriptures as well, but this is the one that started me off. Now, if you don't have your own copy, I'm very happy to help you get one, so please let me know. Send me a message, and if you're not local, then we can certainly send you one or send you links to buy one. But if you are local, we can certainly arrange that for you. If you're close to a preaching centre or a temple, they can also help you out. I promise they'll have copies somewhere that they can give you. So some of the ways that we can on a daily basis throughout our life remember is the scriptures. So you might choose, so chapter 2 especially was great for me. You might choose to have a favourite text that reminds you of that. You can pop that as a reminder on your phone. It might come up once a day or once a week or something, or you might print it off and have it somewhere so that you can always remember that. Use it as a screensaver on your computer. There's lots of different ways, but have that somewhere, something that really reminds you and that you connect with and that you can look at every day. So reading and having something that's tangible that you can see. And I guess the main thing that will help you is that these textures have teachings, examples, and practical ways that you can apply this learning. So it's not just telling you, it's also explaining exactly how and explaining how you can practice yourself. So it's not just talking at you, it's teaching you and telling you. Reading these scriptures also, it's not just a book that somebody wrote. It's Krishna's pastimes that he has explained to Arjuna. So it's a real story and it's been passed down through the disciplic succession. That means that it's passed from Krishna through all of the disciplic succession until it eventually comes to us. So we know that this is true, and we know that it is a real pastime that has been given to us. We're very blessed. And showing these matters being taught by Krishna himself, we know that they are real. We know that they are the real story. Now, how can this remind us that we're not this body, you might say? Okay, so it can inspire us to learn more. So we might read the first one and go, okay, it says that, but how do I know? So by learning that first lesson may be the one that you take on board and say, okay, I'm going to look into this more. And how can you look into that more? There's a few ways. You can read the scriptures, as I said. You can just Google Srila Prabhupada, You're Not That Body, and there will be, I promise, something that you will find, a lesson that he will be able to give you, a lecture that he has spoken that you can listen to, and there'll be some wisdom there that will hit home, I promise. The other ways is you could go to lessons or classes, and these will be at a preaching centre or at a temple. If you don't know where one is, you can Google or get onto ISKCON, or if you still can't find it, please contact me. I'm happy to put you in touch with someone in your area, because they are all over the world. Now, what they'll do is they'll have some kind of lesson, and the lesson plans will be based around, what they want to talk about, but you can certainly ask questions as well. So if you went to a class and you didn't get exactly what you wanted from that lesson, so just say that you're going and you're wanting to learn exactly about the topic of You're Not That Body, please feel free to approach the teacher afterwards. Ask as many questions as you want. And if they don't have time that day, I'm sure they'll make a time that they can meet with you, and ask them when there will be lessons on that subject, which will be quite regularly. So giving them the interest and letting them know that that is what you want to learn about, that actually helps them to prepare what lessons they put forward. So don't feel like you're being pushy or pushing what you want. It's what we all need. And sometimes the questions that you ask might be what someone wants to know, but they just haven't thought to ask, or they're a little bit scared. So don't feel like that you can't ask questions, because they actually really do encourage that. There will also be other books. For example, my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Bir Krishna Goswami Das, he has a book called You're Not That Body. And that is a very easy to read, especially for beginners, a very easy book to start from. It will give you examples as well that are very easy to follow and practical application. You can also go on to, we've got the Facebook, You're Not That Body. I have things on there. But honestly, anything with ISKCON and you just Google it, you'll find someone that can share those lessons with you. Now, within ISKCON, there's also a mentor system, to put it simply, and you can ask to meet with someone. Now, it doesn't have to be a long-term thing. You can, if you like, you can just ask if you can have a mentor that can guide you through these teachings. And if that's what you want, I'm sure they'll find someone to help you. And that can be as structured as you like. So you might meet once a week or once a fortnight, and you might have lunch together, or have, herbal tea together, or meet somewhere and just have a little discussion. And you can think about questions that you have, and then your mentor can actually give you some questions, but they can also give you some feedback on other ways that you can take on these teachings. And once again, it comes to, sometimes you don't know what questions to ask, and they've heard these questions many times before, so they're able to help you. And I also was asked, what are ways that I can continually be reminded? So the best lessons that I have is pick a lesson and research it. So if, for example, you went to chapter 2 and you found text 13 and you said, I want to learn more about that. So read it. So read the translation, read the purport, go on to Google or ISKCON Desire Tree and search for that lesson. And you can click on videos and it will show you videos or audio or whatever it is that you choose. So Srila Prabhupada will definitely have something on there. And then other gurus as well, or other Prabhus and Matajis will have those lessons. And I actually find sometimes you can listen to the same lecture by 3 different people and learn 3 entirely different things. It really is quite amazing. So taking a lot of those different teachings, and you can actually take a little bit from each. Another way is that you could either go to a lesson or have one yourself in your home, or that you host, and make it around one of these lessons and then have a discussion around it. So you might read that text, read the translation, have a little talk, and then everyone could say, okay, this is what I took from that lesson. So it is actually interesting. And in doing my Bhakti Sastri, I have noticed that we can read the same text and everyone can have a different question. So we're all taking different things from it. We're all looking at things from a different point of view. And that is, I guess, mainly around where we are in our life and what we need and it's not being selfish, it's just about what we're needing in our life and what we're searching for. The other way is to spend time with pure devotees. So pure devotees will understand this lesson but they also need reminding. So spending time with them and asking questions, which they're very happy to answer, they will help you to find ways to remember Krishna in your life. You also may like to, as I said, attend lessons or classes at your local preaching centre or temple. And again, if you can't find them, please let me know. I'll be happy to help. And then, of course, reading those lectures or listening to lectures. Okay, that's all I have for today. If there's any other ways that you can think of that you can be reminded on a daily basis and to put into practical application, please send me a message. I'm very happy to hear from you. I really enjoy reading the comments and feedback. And I hope that you can take this lesson on board. I really challenge you every day to think about how we're not this body, how we're spirit soul, and how we can work at going back home to Godhead. My name's Fraja Valasani. Have an amazing day. Hare Krishna.